All right, welcome once again to Doghouse Sports. My name is Elvis. Got my friends Joe Grande, Big Joe from the Bay, and former 49er and Super Bowl champion Derrick Deese. How you guys doing?
Yeah,
A
I'm all
lot better
right.
than Derrick. I mean,
Oh,
Derek's
yeah.
on a mission
He's in a
right now
mood.
to attack someone. He's
Well,
attacking me for
Joe,
no reason.
no, it's a reason because you really are fuzzy right now. You are really fuzzy like a mountain. You know what I'm saying? But that's okay.
Looking
First
at
of
you
all,
is
before we
bad
get
enough.
started,
Now I got to look at you fuzzy. It's bullshit.
I don't even know how you're looking at me. I just see one eye going to the left, one eye to the right. It's like there's two wandering eyes on your face right now.
Yeah, you should look. I mean, Elvis, he's talking about you, you four-eyed.
oh
piece
no,
of
he's
crap.
not. No, he's not. I know he's not.
Hey,
Yes, he is.
Derek, does it really bother you when the Niners lose like that in a Super Bowl? Like as a former player, like how does that does it really piss you off?
Well, right now it's really pissing me off because I had to take a whole lot of heat for it. So I don't even
I'm
know
sure.
where to begin with that.
All right.
After I
Before we get
talk so
started,
much mess about us winning.
oh, I bet. Well, after
Shut up.
let's. Whoa! Before we get started, I want to thank our partner, Smart Tab POS. It's POS that doesn't suck. You own a bar, restaurant, nightclub, a gentleman's club, a ski resort, a golf course, and you want to generate more revenue, go to smarttab.com. That's SMARTTAB.com and schedule a demo today. So, Joe, want to ask you, we've been friends quite a while, right?
Yes, sir.
30 years or so?
At least.
And we've known each other a long time, and I consider you a friend. Do you consider me a friend?
Unfortunately, I do.
Wow. Well, today, Joe lost his with me. He went nuts on me. I've never been talked to by another human being, especially my friend Joe. And I got to be honest with you, I need an apology.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Wow.
Do not go out like that. Do not go out like that. Come on, man. You're already a Cowboy fan. Do not go out like that. He has a bit.
You know why, Derek?
He already
because
said
if
it.
I explained to you what he did, you
Really?
would go,
I think I did.
Joe,
It's
there's no reason for you to say sorry. That's why I said
no,
sorry.
it's
so
a
fast.
it was a
I want to hear
communication
it.
breakdown.
I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
Now let's get on with the show in the Super Bowl. I'll tell you later. I'll tell you after the show. Okay?
Yeah, whatever.
It
You
was
got your
just
apology
total
now.
bullshit.
I feel
I know
like
I
your
did.
balls
I know
were
I did.
rubbed by Joe.
Oh, he's an idiot.
No.
Watch when
crazy.
you hear it, Derek. You're gonna go fuck him.
Let's talk about what happened the day before the Super Bowl. I got to help host the 49er rally here in Vegas. By the way, I want to thank the 49er tailgate guys. Ken, great organization. Also 408 Swag. And also want to do, Joe, so this guy, Big Body Cisco, big Samoan guy from the Bay.
I remember
you
him.
have to know. He fought in Battle of the Big Boys.
Of course, I remember him.
He comes up to me and he says, you guys, I had so many people say Doghouse changed my life type of stuff. So he's a great guy too, has a big 49er organization. I tell you what, the 49er fans are chaotic. It was over 5,000 people lined up before the thing opened at 1 at 9 a.m. They had to cut people off from coming in. Great rally. A guy named Tone was hosting it. I think he was on coke. But Joe Montana was there. Eric Wright was there.
Well, at least I know two guys probably were on coke at that party.
Really?
Counting you.
Really, Joe? I was thinking about that today when you screamed at me. I thought he's coming down off a 3-day binger. Yeah.
Oh, here we go again.
3-day binger. Anyway.
You know, when you look at those parties like that and think how many Niner fans were in Las Vegas, they sure weren't in that ball game because I did not hear a sixth player or whatever number you want to throw on them.
12th man, okay, buddy? It's the 12th man.
Whatever.
It was 80% Niner fans here compared to Chiefs fans in Vegas. It was all Niner fans. Everybody traveled here. And the rally was fantastic. Unfortunately, they did lose. But shout out to all the guys. Ken, also Big Body Cisco, Rudy. A lot of the guys are there. In fact, they're going to post about this show to get some more subscribers on our YouTube channel. By the way, our YouTube channel is at Doghouse Sports. Joe, what did you do? You had a party at Cannabis Talk 101, right?
Oh, man, so many people came over there. It was awesome, and it was a really good time. Literally had, I don't know if you've seen it on Instagram, the Cannabis Talk 101 IG, but it was popping. Really good vibe, and just, everything we have there on the campus is always a good time. Everyone's always just, good liquor, good weed, good food, so everyone has a good time. It was ironically more of Kansas City fans than not, which was weird.
Wow. Yeah. No, I partied with, or we just had as people at the Smart Tab Studios here, and it was like all Niner fans except one lady crying when the Chiefs were losing. It was like, I said, hold on. If they go to OT, Patrick Mahomes is going to win the game.
Oh yeah, way to jinx
So
it.
Derrick. So as a former football player and in the NFL, as a former Super Bowl champion, by the way, the last time the Niners won the Super Bowl was when you played for them in 1994-95. They've lost 3 in a row. What is your take? As a professional athlete, what is your take on the performance of the 49ers and the Chiefs on Sunday?
Well, obviously it was a good game. I mean, it was slow in the first half. But like I said, like I told you before, though, if you get down, in double digits to the Chiefs, it's extremely difficult to come back. I mean, they got that guy number 15, and he scares you. Even when I was asked to make my prediction on Friday about the game, I mean, it was difficult, and it didn't. My prediction didn't change. The only thing that actually changed was the score total. It was lower than I thought it would be. I thought it would be a higher scoring game.
I agree.
I
Niners
felt defense played a great first half. Niners defense played a lights out first half. Lights out.
They played a great form.
Yeah.
They played a great first half. It was the fact that I thought it would be a higher scoring game. I thought the Niners would win by 3. I know spread said it was Niners -2.5 or -2, right. And I felt like they'd cover that. They'd win by 3. I did not expect them to be down 10-0 at half, though. That was just like I couldn't understand that. I couldn't foresee that. And when that did happen, I felt like, okay, look, you're still in the game, right? The problem is 15 is going to come out, and Andy Reid's he's going to run the ball, and he's going to run the clock. He's going to do some things. They're going to make some better adjustments, I felt like, because some of the stuff that the Niners were doing, it wasn't really working, and the Niners had to come out with some stuff. They came out the box, obviously, with some trick plays.
Right.
In the third quarter, I know everybody's saying, hey, we got away from the run. We got away from the run. No, we didn't get away from the run. I mean, I think
when the second half started, they did 3 and outs in a row.
Well, and I think that's where everybody kind of misses it. And then who takes the heat on that? And you're really good at doing that. Is you're really good at giving Kyle, a smack in the back of the neck, and I don't think that's correct.
He's 0 for 3 calling plays in the Super Bowl. He's 0 for 3.
Look, you can call it what you want to. He called the plays the way they were supposed to be called and how they lined up. You have 3 and outs. I mean, what do you want to keep doing? Like, you have to at some point try to change something, make something different, get a spark somewhere from somebody, and whether that's a trick play, whether that's a gamble, whatever it is.
Is what got him to score a touchdown.
Right. Well, the trick play allowed him to score a touchdown. It was wide open. They saw it. It worked. And but they did come down, and I think on a third, close to their end zone, they were backed up. They ran another trick play, which I thought, I don't think I would have run that one, because they ended up pitching it to McCaffrey, and he got stuffed.
Nailed.
I don't think
Chris
that
Jones
was
is no joke, man.
And I felt like that was a play that people would actually start to say, like, here he goes again. That at the end of the day, Kyle can call the plays, but he doesn't play for the players. The players still have to make plays. Now, I heard Andy say after the game that, they had a lot of drop passes still, and they were able to overcome that. The Niners had a ton of drop passes.
And fumbles. McCaffrey fumbled, and then that fumble
McCaffrey,
on the kickoff.
Was so rare at the beginning of the game for him to drop that.
To drop the ball there, he's beating himself up over it. I mean, if you heard him speak about it, most of his post-game interview was about I can't just drop the ball. I can't put the ball on the ground. I can't put the ball on the ground. I can't put the ball on the ground.
Trent
even
Williams
asked like how
holding calls back to back too. I mean, that's
uncharacteristic. That's uncharacteristic.
They
played against 2 tackles that I felt weren't very good. And when you start to think about this whole scenario, they were able to go back to back with 2 tackles that weren't very good, and a team where they still can get better at certain positions. Man, this could be a team for a while to look at out of the AFC.
Decade. Yeah,
I mean, why wouldn't they be? Right?
Well, no, I'm just saying.
And when you look at the Niners, Derrick, as an offensive lineman, and you look at that blocked extra point that could have been the game winning, and when you look at that situation, the blame goes on the O-line.
Yeah.
Well,
let's
get that. That could have been it could have been the game winner, but at the same time, that's why I have my feelings about kicking the ball in certain situations. I understand that that's not one you don't kick in. I get it. I just don't like kicking. I don't like kickers. I don't like the fact that you have.
I don't like when it comes down to kicking. Yeah, I don't
like
when it
comes down to job, and you got to make that job happen. And yeah, I understand. They rushed and he kicked it. To me, is I look back and like, man, maybe you kicked the ball too damn low. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, he did. He actually did. But he hit long field goals too.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
Don't talk about him, man.
You have one job, and your job is to make that kick. And at all costs, whatever you got to do, you make that kick. So you can call me, a guy that can't stand all kickers or whatever. That's not the issue. It's just the issue of when you lose a game and you feel like you might have lost on a kick. But that's neither here nor there, right? Because they held the Chiefs, and because at the point, the only way that kick was really going to hurt is if the Chiefs got back and if they scored, right? Because now you're down by 4 instead of 3. So now you got to score a touchdown. Right. Well, guess what? The defense held them, made it 16-16. They're back in the game. It's 0-0. Now we just got to go and do our job on the offensive side of the ball. And that didn't happen, right? It didn't really happen the way we wanted it to happen.
So let me ask you this, the whole OT thing. Now, from what I understand in Kyle's press conference afterwards, he said he didn't know. I think he said he didn't know the overtime rules, current NFL overtime
the change.
Rules. Yeah, he didn't
know.
I
didn't hear that. I didn't hear that in the post game that I watched. So the one that I watched, I heard him say, "Hey, look, we knew what we had to do. We figured putting the pressure on them wasn't going to, you go out and do your job." Look, in overtime with that rule the way it is, and each team is going to have to get one possession unless it's a defensive score, right? So defensive score, game is over. I don't care at that point who has the ball first. I think actually taking the ball first kind of puts it on the other team to put some pressure on them, because now if we score a touchdown, now you got to start figuring out, okay, I got to score. What do I call? How do I call it? Yeah, and now I score a field goal. Now you got a little bit. It's a little slack.
Got a little cushion right there with a field goal. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
Should they have gone for it on fourth down?
In overtime?
In overtime.
No.
It's the Super Bowl. It's the friggin' Super Bowl.
I don't give a damn what it is.
You take the 3 and you give it to Mahomes?
You take the 3. Look, your defense is playing pretty damn good. Like,
they played great. They played great.
Your defense is playing well, right? And you're missing a guy. You're missing a real good guy, that you've been missing since the beginning of the game, really. And you're still playing lights out. I mean, you got to go do your job. At the end of the day, you've paid all these guys. Look at that defense and how they're paid, right? There's a lot of guys on that defense that got to come up with plays, and it didn't come up. They didn't make when it was needed. The play didn't come.
Was it more or less was Steve Wilks to blame on that, on his schemes? Because there was a lot. Mahomes running like that should never happen. Shouldn't you have a spy on number 15?
Mahomes should never happen. It's going to happen. I don't care what defense.
Put a spy on him. Put a spy on him.
Look, on one of those plays, if you remember correctly, he faked the handoff and took off to the right side and went right around. And Bosa looked like he had gone too far inside, and he looked like like Bosa turns around and he basically put his hands up. Well, no, he put his hands up like he thought maybe he had somebody outside looking for him, like covering that. And so I don't know if there was a miscommunication on that. I don't know if he bit thinking like, oh, I'm in, because he was on the left side. He was on the right side tackle, which is the weakest tackle that Kansas City had, the one who had the most penalties all year. And so I don't know if he like, man, I got it. I got this rush. And then all of a sudden he realized like, man, I don't have anybody outside. And that's why he put his hands up. Or did he put his hands up saying like, hey, somebody was supposed to be covering outside on this play and they didn't do it. So it looks like there was miscommunication. If that's the case, once again, coaches call plays, they don't get to play for the players.
Brock Purdy, I hope that shuts everybody up for Brock Purdy. He played great. He played really good.
It's not going to, because most of the people that were against Brock Purdy were against Brock Purdy, saying that he has to win this game in order to solidify himself. He didn't win the game. And the thing is that, to me, I'm not buying into it. The guy's a quarterback. The guy can play.
Derrick, those Chiefs had not given up over 260 yards all season. That they are shut down corners in that backfield there.
He's the future. Purdy is the future of the NFL. Let's not get that twisted.
Oh, he's definitely
the highest paid quarterback at one point.
Oh, he will be. He should actually get a good contract next year. So
he'll make 50 million.
He should get a good contract. He's humble, man. He's he understands where he's coming from.
Man.
He knows
grinder.
He respects his teammates. He takes the blame when he doesn't really have to on some of that stuff. I liked his post game interview. I thought he handled himself, really well. He talked a lot about his locker room still being upset. He talked about himself. Talked about as a unit, they didn't produce like they were supposed to. You had Dre go out, Greenlaw go out with the torn Achilles. Yeah. And here's the thing, man, he
was like that too.
Well, he was battling that, I believe, most of the season.
Okay. I didn't know
it wasn't something that just happened. I think he had been battling it for like the last 4 or 5 weeks, maybe 6 weeks, maybe even
you have to be battling that. That just doesn't happen out of left field.
And so
you're right.
it just popped and it gave out. But the thing you have to look at is, right, those are the kind of injuries that guys are getting nowadays, right? And some of that, I believe some of that's because there's not enough physical practices that happen, and there's not enough going at it hard enough at those practices for those things to happen. I've seen more guys laid out with shoulders and things like that because they don't take those type of hits, man. And it's a terrible thing. I get, you want to stop concussions. I get you, but the pounding that your body's going to take otherwise, and then when you asked it to like raise its game naturally to play at a rate that you haven't gone against, and then be able to handle that contact.
Yeah. No,
it's not going to happen, man. You gotta practice what you want your body to do. You got to do it in practice. And so, we didn't like to do 2-a-days and things like that. But guess what? It ended up actually helping us and benefiting us because we learned a lot about our body. We learned how to fall and how to take the hit and how to go with the hit. And you saw for linemen, you know what? It made it better because you actually got to see every blitz. Right. And you got to see every twist and every scheme that they could possibly run at you within a 5 to 6 week period. And guys aren't getting that now. And so by the time a line gels, it's halfway through a season. And if that line's not the same the following year, guess what? It starts all over again.
Right. The Chiefs are now 3-time Super Bowl champions. I'm thinking that's a dynasty at this point.
With a capital D.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes. So he's 28 years old. He's got 3. Is he now on Tom Brady level as far as the GOAT? Is he right up there now? Because he's done it in a lot less games. He's got 3. I don't see him slowing down. He's a competitor. What do you see, Derrick, with the Chiefs moving forward? Because they have some holes. They don't have a number 1 receiver. They don't. They have some holes on defense as well, like you mentioned with the defensive line, the tackles. Where do you see them doing in the offseason to upgrade what they need to do? And do you see them continuing this for the next 10 years?
Well, like I said, you're talking about a team that wasn't the same team that's coming off of its first of the Super Bowl the year before. And they had 2 major linemen that were hurt.
Yeah.
So those guys are going to come back, and that team's going to be stronger just on the offensive line, just for that alone. Wow. And for the guys that played behind them will be that much stronger because they're going to be better backups. But will those guys get picked up somewhere else? Possible, right? Yeah, so those things happen,
Jones,
right?
Chris Jones is a free agent, and
but they've got to figure out a way to. I mean, I know they had that problem with him, the year before and all that stuff, and his offseason, they just got to sign him. They got the money to do it now. They've got to got to do it and get him taken care of because
all the Raider fans here are saying he's coming to the Raiders.
No, he wants to win. There's no way he goes there.
No.
He's got to cause. He wants to cause a destruction, and he causes havoc in the backfield.
He deserves to be the highest paid defensive player in the league. He deserves that. That's Bosa now.
Yeah. As far as being a dynasty, yeah, I mean they're there, right? You know,
they are.
half of the decade they've been in the Super Bowl. So who do you want to who do you want to talk about, right?
Nobody's done that.
There. Is he the GOAT? Is he the GOAT? The GOAT of this Brady. The GOAT of this era, maybe. The GOAT of this decade, maybe. You know, probably for sure.
Tom Brady still has that. You can't just give it up.
He's still got six. He's got six.
Once he catches Tom Brady, even maybe.
Look, the problem you have, right?
Years, though.
The problem you have is you can talk about when he did it and how he did it. I mean, he won, right? And then you still have with Tom the fact that he did lose a Super Bowl, right? But you still have the guy that wore 16 who went to 4 and won 4. And
Montana,
I don't know how anybody ever is going to ask him out of that unless somebody comes in and is able to win 6 or 7 straight and not lose any of them. Yeah, because when the game is on the line and it's the biggest game of all, 16 showed up and he won.
Yep.
And you know, people can talk about, you know, well, he didn't have this type of team, and Patrick Mahomes didn't have a great team, but Joe made everybody else.
That Joe was in. That was the different era. They could hit quarterbacks back then,
right?
You know?
They used to tee off on you, and they used to coming across the middle. A receiver had to worry about getting his head knocked off, and you know, D lineman had to worry about getting chopped from behind, and all this kind of stuff. All that stuff is gone.
Yeah, Montana
and so
not a big man compared.
It's a whole different type of deal. It's a whole. So when you start talking GOATs, man, I get frustrated because a lot of these new generation kids, man, if they didn't see you play, they don't count you.
Agreed.
And
they
you
can't just not think of Joe Montana like that. When you break that down, dog, it's like
I've heard people say stuff. I've heard people say, like, you know, hey, Jordan doesn't count in basketball because I didn't see him play. I'm like, how do you say that? I've heard people say Bill Russell doesn't count because he played against
11
plumbers.
championships.
And I'm like, wait a minute, hold up.
Dominant.
I'm like, hold up. You're telling me that it's his fault that the guys weren't big enough or better than him, and so he has to take a hit from you to say he shouldn't have won? That doesn't make sense to me. And
no, it doesn't.
And so you have to go back and look.
Eras. You shouldn't really compare eras.
You can't compare eras, and so you have to take. You know, if you want to take decades and guys that fit within decades, and then compare those guys, then you can do that, right? You can do 100%. That all day long. He's definitely in the talks of the greatest quarterback of his time, you know, and he will always be in that conversation because of what he's done. The organization is gonna go as far as it wants to go, because that's just where they are right now. They're the new Patriots, if you ask me. They're going to be able to bring in guys for 1-year contracts to put Band-Aids over certain situations and make things happen. And you have a quarterback who is just unfazed by anything.
But is Andy Reid the guy at 67 years old?
65.
He's 65, and can he go to 72, 73 easily if he wants to? Yeah, you know, if he wants to. I mean, the guy says he puts in hours and hours of work, and the players say, man, he never leaves the facility, and he loves the game. You know, no, it's a lot of cheeseburgers being made there. I mean, trust me,
corn dogs.
He loves his cheeseburgers, and so he plays to eat. You know, and that's what he's doing. He coaches to eat. He's playing to eat. You know, he wants to win those big games so he can get that double. You know, whatever it is. You know, he wants to get that extra cheese on his burger. And so,
corn dogs right after the game, they had In-N-Out for him ready. I thought that was one of the coolest things. So he was so pumped up for it.
Oh,
stuff like that is what gets me all giddy. Like that's.
Are you guys like me? Now it's a little bit of depression setting in. Know that there's no football for 6 months. Or are you like me? I get excited for the combine coming up, and the draft is my Christmas. Do you kind of? Well,
it's not that there's no football. There's football now because you still got the UFL that's coming out, right? I want to see that. I want to see that go off. I want to see how that's going to play. You know, my son's going to play in that.
Yeah, is he? What team?
Yeah, he's going to be on the Michigan Panthers. Former Niner coach is actually the head coach of that team.
Mike Nolan, right?
Mike Nolan. So
yeah.
I'm fired up about watching that. Just seeing my son play, but I'm fired up watching the league because I think what they're doing with that league is actually interesting. And they well, not even the merger, the way that they practice and how they keep everybody in the same city. You know, everybody practices in Arlington, and then they get
all teams.
All 8 teams are in Arlington, and they made like a football community, right? And so then from there, they send out the teams on the same plane that fly out to play their home games, and then they fly back together. I think that is one of the most interesting things and concepts. Yes, both teams fly on the same plane. But you got to remember,
against each other with a lot of respect. But I'm trying to
with a lot of respect and a lot of camaraderie and understanding that, you know, we're all in this together. We're all trying to make it to the same place. And I think that's interesting. I like that. You know,
I think that's really
I
cool.
like that whole deal. I think when the NFL, when the NFL comes to see those players, they only have to go to one place and they can watch everyone at the same time, you know, and catch everybody in one area, and they don't have to travel around.
And
I think
you as a player can be there and see who the best are in my league.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. I hope your son just kills it. I hope he just kills it, man.
Yeah, he needs a shot. He needs to get back in.
So the NFL draft's coming. I think the top 3 players are all going to be quarterbacks. Chicago will take Caleb Williams. The Washington Commanders will take Drake May. And at 3, the Patriots will take Jaden Daniels. A lot of people are like you. They think that the Chicago Bears are going to hold on to Justin Fields, which I think they should do. I think they're just enamored with Caleb Williams and his talent. Or somebody's going to jump up and trade up.
You can be enamored with whoever you want to be, but let's not forget, Caleb doesn't want to play for the Bears.
He don't.
And not only
he's made it very clear. Why would you
make a difference first year?
Why would you forget making a difference as an owner? Why would you let your coach pick a player who has already just said, I don't want to be there? Right. What fans are going to embrace a guy that just said automatically, I don't want to play for the Bears? I'm not even jumping in the draft if there's a chance that you're going to take me. And so he waited.
Get a ransom for him. They should get a ransom for that first overall pick.
You can get whatever you want to get. You can get whatever you want to get. But I'll tell you what, if you don't pick a player that wants to be in your organization, you're automatically defeating yourself. You're just putting your team in a bad situation. You're putting the fans in a bad situation. I just don't see that happening. There's a guy that I look at though, and I don't know how anybody else can not look at him, but you have to look at this receiver.
Oh yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Without a doubt, a junior.
Game changer.
He's not just a receiver. This dude makes play after play, and he's a playmaker. He's a game changer. He is everything.
Chicago takes him with the number 1 pick. I agree.
Now that's where I see Chicago going, because if you decide you want to keep Fields, all he has to do is put it up, and Junior's going to get that rock. He's going to go get it.
That's it on our Super Bowl show. Thank you guys so much. Great stuff. I want to mention also that the Comedy Jam for JV is coming up March 1st. It's just going to be an incredible night, very emotional, an incredible lineup with D.L. Hughley. We've also got Cedric the Entertainer. They got Ralph Barbosa, Ada Gonzalez, and others. You go to Ticketmaster.com to get your tickets just to celebrate JV and his life and the reason we're doing Doghouse Sports. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.